and it's quite a hot and interesting topic to learn. So this is a Node.js role-based API authentication system, and if you have gone through my previous videos, you might feel like it's a lot of repetition of code, but it is a good way to learn stuff. At that time also I was also a learner, so I was learning, and that was the best I could come up with an idea to learn that thing. So today I have found a better way to implement the role-based API authentication without the code repetition. So let's get started without further delay. And this is a Node Express project, so I need you to install Node.js. That's a prerequisite. Then for the database, I'm gonna use MongoDB. So I have already installed MongoDB using Docker build. So you can see it is running up and running. So I can say simply docker ps-a, and you can see it, MongoDB server is running over here. And you can use normal build of the Mongo daemon, as well as you can go through the MongoDB Atlas clusters. Whatever you feel like, just put that route over there, address on the Mongo database. The next thing which I am gonna use is the body parser. A lot of packages are to be in there, and I'm gonna use heavily JSON web tokens. So, and to test the REST APIs, I need you to install this Postman. If you don't have this application, this is a nice application to test our APIs, so you can simply use that thing too. And for the programming, for the programming editor, I'm using Visual Studio Code. So if you don't have installed, you can install it from Visual Studio Code, and it's up to you. Whatever you feel like, you can go through whatever terminal, whatever application are you comfortable with. You can go for the styling and all that stuff. So you can always customize accordingly, but I prefer Visual Studio Code, so I will be using that. So the next thing is currently I'm on my desktop directory, and here I have a couple of folders, but this is a project from scratch, so I'm going to start it from scratch. So that will be simple. I'll start with the Node Express project by simply writing cd. I'll create a new directory, node auth. Okay, sorry about that, guys. mkdir node auth, and then cd node auth. So it has created this node auth folder, and I'm into that. So if I ls, this is completely empty folder. So what I'm gonna do is simply gonna create a new file, or instead, firstly let me create a new project. So npm init and -y, because this will take a lot of things, and this has created this file packet.json. These are the content of the files of the JSON. So if I open this folder in Visual Studio Code, you can simply find okay, so let me quickly get rid of that. Okay, so here is our Visual Studio Code now. So let me quickly increase the font size so that you can see properly what all the stuff are going on there. And this is, I don't know what's going on, but that's not something we have to worry about. So first thing first, I'm going to install a couple of packages. So first package which I'm going to install is Express. Second package which I'm going to install is Consola. It's a nice fancy stuff for the consoles built by Nux.js team, so you can use it, Next package I'm going to install is Consola. It's a nice package from the Nux.js team to give a fancy look of the terminal. Then we have a body parser, then JSON web token, Passport-JWT course, and I think One more thing is left, yeah, .env. So you can see it properly. Let me shrink it a little bit. So these are the packages which I'm going to working with currently. Is there something left? Okay, Express, Consola, body parser. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to install these packages, and you can simply install them, and once it is done, you can find the node modules folder is over there. This is gonna take just a moment to install these packages, and here I have my node modules folder now. So in package.json, if you go, there's the entry point, and main index.js is the entry point. So what I'm going to do is create a start script and simply say node index.js. So this will be our entry point of the application. So currently we don't have any index.js file, so I'm going to touch that index.js, and you can see index.js file is created over here. And I forgot one package which is very important to connect with our database, so that is Mongoose package. So npm install Mongoose, and this will take just a moment to install it. So here we have a Mongoose. Currently I'm running version 5.8.9, so this will help us in interacting with the database, so that's fine for me. So now what I'm going to do is create proper folder structure. So first folder will be middlewares. Second folder which I'm going to create is config, and the third folder which I'm going to create is in the root only, that is models, and the fourth folder which I'm going to create is routes. So this will contain all the routes of the application. This will contain all the models of the application, and this will contain all the middleware of the application. So I hope that makes a lot of sense to you. And since we have installed our .env package, so what I'm going to do is create a new file that's called .env. So it will keep all environment variables of the application, and you have to simply pull it into the configuration and put it in and export it from there. So in config, I'm going to create a new file called index.js, and that index.js I'm going to require .env, and we'll run this command config. So this will extract all the dependencies, all the environment variables from this .env file automatically, and then I'm going to export module.exports equal to this. So first thing first, secret, require something secret in order to security and some stuff. So we can simply say process.env.secret, and instead of secret it will be app secret. You can choose whatever you feel like, but make sure these names should be in there, the same names. Then we have a db, and we will simply say process.env.appdb. And the third thing which I'm gonna need is our port. So we can simply say app.port, process.env.port. Okay, so these are the three things which we'll be pulling out from our .env file, and let's go and initialize them over there. So appdb equal to MongoDB localhost. By default it runs on port 27017, and after that you have to specify the name of the database. So node test, or instead of that node auth will just do fine, and you don't have to go and create a database. It will automatically create it for you once we are interacting with the application. So app port will be 5000, which I prefer. Then app secret, and for now I'm going to use QWERTY. It can be any random string. It's just completely on you. Sorry about this, guys. And here we have our 3 application constants, so which we brought in from there, and this will be app port. So we brought in all the app constant from this .env file, and we don't need it anymore. And later, if you want to add more environment variables, you can add it in here, and we can pull it in always using .env package. So this will export these 3 things from there. So now I'm going to start working with our index.js file. So first package which I'm going to bring in is const course, required course, const express, okay. Third package which I'm gonna bring in is const bp, require body parser. And fourth package fourth module, it is not a package, it's a package, but I'm taking a particular part of that package, so I'm using kind of object destructuring. So connect from Mongoose. So these are the 3 things which I have brought in. Now let's initialize the application, but before that we need to bring in the app constants. And the first constant we'll bring in from there is const db port, and that's all. And we will bring in from there in the same directory configuration. Since that configuration has index.js file, it will automatically pull in all the packages, all the variables from this index.js, so we don't have to worry about anything else writing /index.js until you have a better reason to do that. So let's initialize the application. Initialize the application. So we'll simply say const app equal to exp. So we have initialize this application, and we can simply say app.listen on port. We'll pass in port variable over here. This will give a callback, and now we can use our consola. So we haven't brought in consola, so we can simply say consola we need to bring in only success, error, and this is a better way to bring in all the this is a better good practice to use object destructuring to bring in all the packages. So this will, instead of bringing all the whole package, it will just bring in a simple module from there. So we can simply say success, and this takes an object with a message server started on port, and we'll write that port. Okay, so this is a good way. And one more thing I want to specify, batch set it to true. This will give a nice fancy color. So let me run this package for now. We are still very far away from our normal logic of the application. This is just a practice node nodemon. You can simply install this nodemon globally, and that's fine. You can simply say success server is started on port 5000, so that's fine. That means we don't have any problem in bringing all the packages. So now we need to, before starting this application connection, we need to make a connection with a database DB. And now in this case we will use this connect connect a module from the mongoose package which we have brought in. So simply say, we can simply connect, and we'll pass our DB object over here. This will take a object, use unified topology. This is also set to true. Use unified topology, set it to true. Use unified new URL parser, set it to true. So this will make our application less prone. And then once it is done, it will give a callback. So we can simply catch that callback, and we will simply say success method. So I'm gonna copy this, paste it over here, DB, and that DB I want it to print it on next line. So /ln successfully connected with the database. Okay, and in case of any error, .catch will execute the catch block. We'll pass that through that error object. And now I'm gonna use, instead, let me quickly copy this again, and instead of the success right now, I'm gonna use this error which we have brought in from the console. So we can simply say error unable to connect with database, and here we pass that error object so that it just gives a printing out. It just prints. And let me quickly shrink it this little bit so you can see all in one line. Now one more thing, this is an asynchronous function because it might take just a moment to connect with a database. So we'll simply put that, we'll wrap everything in a function. We'll cut this and const start app, and this is now a function. Okay, so this is now a function, and what I'm going to do is simply call this function start application. So now if I go and run nodemon, you can simply say nodemon, and database is successfully connected with the database. And let me go quickly show you one more example. So if I go to this Docker stuff and Docker stop Mongo, so Mongo is now stopped, and if I close and again run nodemon, you can simply say server started on port 5000, but it is still trying to connect with the database, and database is still not connected, and it won't be able to connect just because my Docker has stopped Mongo daemon server. So what I can do, it is not throwing that error. And one more, there's a big problem with this thing. Before starting application, we need to connect with the database, not afterwards. So what I'm gonna do is using callbacks. So we'll make this an asynchronous request, and you can see error came later. And after connecting only with the database, then only you have to start the server, otherwise it won't. So that's a big problem. So I wrote it in this way. And still it won't be able to work. So let me break the server, put this down, and what I'm going to do is, instead of this catch and then block, I can simply get rid of these things for a while. I'm pasting it over here, and I'm going to wrap this whole function into try catch block. Try catch, this will catch some error, and we want to do this, paste it whole over here, and with the catch we'll put it over there. With the success, after connection with the database, we can simply say this. line. Okay, and gonna get rid of this. So this will now throw this error out, and we will simply pass that error over here, and it will again retry. Start application. So that's how it works. And now if I go, it will keep on retrying until it is connected with the database. So I'm simply writing node-mon. So it might take just a moment to see what's the issue. What is the way to, this is a good practice to do, always remember. And it's taking a while, and now you can see this app is not started yet. If it is finished connecting with the database. So this is a better practice, and it will again retry you. So it is again retrying until it connects with the database. So now if I go and simply start Mongo, and now this, you can see our application will run fine now. See, it's a magic. I'm not doing any magic over here. This I found a better way, and it used in Nux.js to start with the server for the server side rendering process. So I just used it over here. Let me comment this stuff. Start listening for the server on port. Okay, so this is very initial work. Now we need to implement our middlewares. So we can simply say app.use bb.json. So this is our first middleware, app.use. We need to enable the course. So app.use course, and that will enable the course application in our application. So you can see simply everything is working fine, nothing is breaking over here. So next thing is, what I'm going to do, go into route directory. I'm going to create a route called users.js, and in models directory I'm going to create new file called user.js. So this is a convention. Models are singular, routes are plural, so you can use in that way. So firstly I'm going to start with the model so that you can see how models work. So what I'm going to bring is const schema and model equal to require from Mongoose. So instead of bringing whole package, I'm bringing only small modules from there, and simply say const user schema is equal to new schema, and we want to keep a time track, so we can simply say timestamps. Oops, set it to true. This will automatically be created and updated at fields in the schema. So first thing first, name is fine, type string, and required is true, right? Second field which I'm going to use is email, type is string, required true. This is the email validation. Then we have a role, type is a string, required is true. And there's a better way to do this. I'll show you in the moment. So the better way to do this is simply okay. So instead of simply, you can simply say row, we can by default we can say we want everyone to log in by default as a customer. So but it won't accept any other third value, so there's a call, and in this model I want to deal with three types of roles, or three types of role. That's fine. So customer, second one is admin, and third one is, let's say, employee. Or what you can do is user, admin, and super admin. And by default I want to be user. I want by default anyone logs in, he should be user until it is specified very strictly. Then we have a username. I'm gonna copy this out, required is true, and the password field. Okay, so this is our normal schema. We have a name field, email field, role of the user, and then we have a username and the password. So what I'm gonna do is simply create module.export equal to model, and it will refer to users collection in the database, so user schema. So that's how our normal user model will look like. So once we are done with this thing, we need to go into our routes directory and start working with our routes. So what I can do is simply go ahead and do like this. We need to bring in something called router equal to require express, and we'll initialize router. So this will give the router, and before doing which I forget most of the time, we'll export this router, okay, from there. And now to hook up with this router into the main index.js file, we can just go above this use router middleware. So we can simply say require app.use be API/users, and require routes and user routes. So this is how we inject this router. We injected this router from there to here in our main application, and you can see our application is not breaking anymore. So it's working just fine. So there are a couple of things. Users registration, route, admin registration, then we have super admin registration route. Okay, so these are registration routes. Then we need to go for the logins, right? So I'm gonna copy this, these are the authentication routes for each, and if it might look like that I'm gonna repeat a lot of code, but it's not, believe me. Oops. This is a user protected route, admin protected route, and this is super admin protected route, because this is, I don't want to make a long video showing all the CRUD operations and doing all that stuff. I'm just gonna write my simple thing over here. So first thing first, app.route router dot, this will be a post request. Okay, register user async request response. Okay, later when I'm gonna push this code on the GitHub, you can simply find all the decorators over here, and just give me a moment. So this will be the route for the user registration. Let me copy, and this will be the route for the user register admin, and then we have for their register super admin. Okay, so in the same way, let me copy, Control Z, Control C. This will be for admin login, super admin login, profiles, and just admin user, login admin, super admin. Okay, and the next one is for user profile, admin profile, and this will be for super admin profile. So this is a good point to stop, and in the next video we will start working with our core authentication logic. So thank you guys, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. And if you want more content like this, you can simply subscribe to my channel, and that's all. Thank you guys.